Alrighty, hello everybody. My name is Brian Nuñez, Director of Marketing for Axial. We're here in beautiful Southern California at Horseman's Park. You probably recognize it from the awesome Proline by the Fire. But more importantly, today we just got done with the product video for the brand new SCX10 III Coyote. And I have Connor Patton here, the product developer behind this product. So Connor, let's get into it.
Yes, sir.
It seems to me like the industry's starting to go more performance.
Yeah.
Comp crawler, but still some scale details. And that's what this is, but all-in-one box solution. And we even have a battery and charger version, right? So Connor, I wanted to start off with kind of the high level. First and foremost, why did you want to do this project?
So the whole idea behind this project was to build a truck for everybody that's not going to break the bank, but also you could take it, go out to a local competition and have a truck that just really performs really well and just is a good starter baseline for everybody who's trying to get into more of the performance trucks.
Gotcha. Now, compared to, let's say, like our SCX10 JL or even a CJ7, right? That's definitely more scale. What are like some of the immediate, like I'm looking at different battery placements here. I'm looking at a lot of different things. Where do you want to start? You want to start with electronics, or what's the best thing you want to talk about first?
Probably the weight distribution and maybe the suspension.
Okay.
So for this truck, we move the battery forward right in front of the transmission now. So we have a shorter spur gear cover to accommodate the battery. And we also have new shock towers front and rear that allow you to move the shocks inwards more and lower the center of gravity on the truck.
Gotcha. So that's overall weight. I'm also looking at obviously steering servo, but we have a spot for not only a normal size winch servo, but a smaller winch size servo as well. Built-in fair lead, right?
Yeah, correct. So we have a new servo tray also in this truck. This new servo tray will accommodate a steering servo and either a micro winch or a standard size servo winch.
Awesome. Now, obviously a big thing for comps, right?
Correct.
Perfect. Now, electronic package-wise, the first thing that stands out to me, SR515, not a 215, not a 315. So obviously more channels. Talk to me about what are other kind of ways or what are other situations we're going to want to use that channel. We just talked about a winch, so that's obviously one. What are some other scenarios we're going to need those extra channels?
We upgrade the receiver to the SR515, so you won't need to upgrade your receiver at all. So that allows you to add stuff like rock lights and a new winch. And if you want to do the dig conversion on the transmission, now you have an extra channel to control your dig servo as well.
Awesome. Perfect segue into the axles. Talk to me about what's anything new on the axles compared to, let's call it a current SCX10 III?
The new axles that we tooled up, these are our standard AR45 portal axles. And on these ones, we did a new differential cover that has a smooth bottom on it now. To get you better clearance on the rocks, you don't get hung up as much. And then we also added some trussing onto the panhard mount on the axle to strengthen that up.
Gotcha, over here on this side.
Yep.
Great. Now talk to me a little bit about the dig conversion. What does that all entail to convert, put the dig into this?
So you grab yourself a dig conversion kit off of the Horizon Hobby website, and it gives you all the transmission parts you need to swap the dig into this transmission and be able to lock these rear wheels up.
Gotcha. And that's a scenario we're going to want to lock this up. Just let the front drive and kind of pivot you around a certain obstacle, get around a certain cone, right?
Exactly. So it helps you make sharper turns, but it also, if you're climbing up onto a ledge and your fronts are not quite getting the traction they need, you can lock the rear wheels and it'll make the front suck down a little harder onto the ledge, give you the traction you can pull up.
It's funny, we were dealing with that not too long ago as we're going up, and he was like, you don't want the rears, you kind of want to tip over. Been nice to be able to lock it up, but again, great upgrade, right? Obviously, we don't include that in the boxes and that makes the cost go up, but if it's a feature that you want, it's ready to rock and roll, and you'll start upgrading immediately, which is awesome. All right, so we talked about the soft pack, awesome 5 channels for you to upgrade from there. Servo, winch, electronics, I'm assuming, are exactly the same as the SCX10 III, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Perfect. So those are all nice and trusted. Other thing I noticed is just how smooth everything is in the bottom with these new kind of boat sides. Talk to me about kind of the benefits there.
Yeah, so we redesigned our rock sliders. So instead of having those ribs that were on the bottom of the rock sliders that were getting you hung up on rocks, we changed these over to a boat side. So not only are they a slick bottom now, but they also angle up high so you get more ground clearance.
Great. Now, one thing I want to go back to the axles a little bit, because we do have, what, 10% overdrive on the front?
Yes, sir.
Right? Perfect. So we have 10%. Talk to me for somebody who's kind of maybe just starting off on, the more the performance side of crawling. What's the benefit of overdrive in front?
So overdrive, depending on how much percentage of overdrive you have, as you're driving, it'll compress the shocks a little bit more and get the truck sitting a little bit lower, but also when you're climbing ledges, it'll also give you a little bit more grab in the front end and get you to pull up over obstacles a little bit better.
Awesome.
And it also improves your steering. So
gotcha. So the front end kind of brings,
exactly.
It's almost like a forged dig, if you will, right?
Correct, yeah.
Awesome. Now talk to me, one of the other things we were talking about when we were out in the rocks is, man, this thing with a little bit in the weight in the front makes a big difference. What kind of brass options or what options do you have in order to tune the weight bias on the car?
Yeah, so with the release of this truck, we also have an optional weighted portal cover that you can bolt onto the outside of your portal box. So instead of using your stock plastic portal cover, you have a new cast weighted portal cover to put on there, and that'll give you a little bit more front end weight and keeps your front end more planted.
Perfect. Now, when it comes to grip, it's all about the tires, right? Talk to me a little bit about the kind of the wheel and tire setup that you chose for this rig.
Yeah, so for this truck, in real life, the Maxxis Trepidor has just been a great tire. I've used it myself, and they've always just hooked up really well. So I wanted an aggressive tire for this truck that looked good, but also performed really well. And then we just paired that with the KMC Grenades. The KMC Grenade is just a beautiful wheel, and I think it just complements this truck really well. Perfect.
The other thing I want to talk about, because this is Axial's first time, I believe, is a clipless body.
Yeah.
Right? So first, talk to me about the body. I know this is definitely, I remember when the clip hanger first came out, and I remember like, oh, clip, what's that all about? Next thing you know, it's Proline's top seller, right? You guys were ahead of the game on that. Talk to me about how that inspired this design.
Yeah, so the clip hanger came out from Proline first, and later on was followed up by the Coyote body. So this is more of a just a different look, but overall a competition style vibe with the pinch front end and the pinch rear end. So, and it just sits tight to the front and back of the frame rails. So it was just the perfect body for this truck, just for overall performance, and it's just a great looking body.
Awesome. And it's clipless, right? So that bar just in a slide right in there.
Yep.
And then just press down and you're in.
That's it. On. Yep, no more body posts. It's all just clipless now. You just slide the front end in, the rear just clips straight in.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But if guys do want to go run a cliffhanger body, or they want to go run a JL body on this, they want a more scale look, but still a performance, still body post you can run, right?
Correct, yeah, there's still body post mounts on the shock towers in here, so you can grab yourself a set of body post mounts and throw those on. You can run whatever body you want.
Dude, awesome job. Anything else you think we might have missed, or things you think that are super critical for people to know?
I like the bumpers on this. We went with more of like a sleek bumper in the front and rear, just a great entry angle and departure angle. So those came out really good. And then also we have the new adjustable panhard mount on the chassis side, so that you get your full steering left and right. And then also it's 2-in-1 adjustable, so you can put in one position for straight axles, and you can slide and put over another position for our portal axles. And then just the SCX10 Pro plastic body shocks we put on this, just a more cheaper budget version of the 10 Pro shock, but still performs just as good. And they've just been super tight and haven't leaked or seeped or nothing. So it's just been a great shock so far.
Awesome. So if guys did want to go buy our current Procom scale kit, aluminum bodies that everything else fits, right? Like those shocks are built on.
Yep, you could get the aluminum SCX10 Pro aluminum body shocks, and you can bolt them right up to this truck as well.
Dude, that's perfect. Now talk to me, shocks to me are something that most people don't, especially outside of this hobby, don't realize like how tunable they are.
Yeah.
It comes to oil, springs, etc. Talk to me a little bit about the whole setup and what are things that you would change, in different comps, different areas.
We spent a lot of time testing the shocks with this truck, testing different fluids and testing different spring rates. It does have a different spring rate in the front compared to the back of the truck, which is something different than we've ever done at Axial, besides maybe on the Helamon. I know that was 2 different spring rates. The rear of this truck sits a little stiffer than the front and just helps stabilize the rear when you're on steeper climbs. And then you could always change out shock springs, change out shock fluid. They're just really tunable and They're just great shocks.
Is there any reason, is there any times where you want to like, I don't see like an adjustable collar. Is there a reason why you would want to adjust anyways? Like, is there, I'm assuming we don't do it because you don't ever really need to, right?
Yeah, it's pretty rare. I mean, there'll be some guys if you're out at rock crawling and there's an obstacle you're trying to do and you're just not trying to give up on it. I have seen guys before like adjust their shock collars in the rear, maybe get a little bit more preload in the rear. But with this, usually this is geared more towards competition. So in competition, you don't have the luxury of sitting there and adjusting your shock collar.
Wait, hold on.
Exactly. You don't want to be getting penalties. So this is just more of like a more comp style slim down truck.
You know, as I'm compressing the suspension, I'm also realizing these links kind of disappear once it's fully compressed. These are high clearance links, right?
Yeah, so we did high clearance links on the back of this. The front are just our regular straight links, but the rear are high clearance links, get you a little bit more clearance in the rear end and let the rocks slide into the rear tires a little bit easier.
That's awesome, man. Well, I'll tell you one thing. This thing was a lot of fun to wheel. I think, you know, the performance side of me is coming out because I think I definitely prefer this over some of the more scale stuff. And now all of a sudden I want to build a kit. So thanks for, you know, sparking that interest in me, Connor. I appreciate all the hard work you put into the brand new SCX10 III Coyote, man.
I had a good time today, and it was good getting this out on the rocks with you and seeing what it can really do. And I'm looking forward to the release of this thing. It's gonna be awesome. Yeah, it's a great base, just good product, man. I think I was totally blown away by the performance that it gave, and I can only imagine a little bit of weight, a little bit of tuning. I'm definitely, you know, feeling that overdrive in the front. So I don't know, probably by the fire, you might see me out here wheeling a brand new rig. So awesome, guys. Well, thank you guys so much for following along with us here. We hope you appreciate this product as much as we did kind of creating it for you guys. But again, feel free to drop a comment below what you guys think. What do you guys like to see next? But thanks guys again so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one.